I'm joined now by CBS News political director Steve Chaggaris and Eavon Javers of Politico.com. This week in Florida, President Obama candidly put his neck on the line, saying what few presidents have in their first month in office. Let's take a listen.
I mean, I expect to be judged by results. And there's no, I'm not going to make any excuses. If stuff hasn't worked and people don't feel like I've led the country in the right direction, then you'll have a new president.
Steve, we don't have a new president yet, but apparently we're going to get a new Secretary of Commerce. Judd Gregg is gone. What happened here? Did Judd Gregg just flake out, or did the Obama administration make a bad choice in the first place, knowing, as many in Washington did, that Judd Gregg is a very sort of hardcore fiscal conservative with fixed ideas?
I think Judd Gregg said it yesterday. I think he had a change of heart. I think he, had all the best intentions getting into this, thought about it over the last 10 days and realized, I can't work with these guys. I don't agree with them on a lot of this stuff, especially the stimulus. And, I think he just had a change of heart.
I mean, is this a larger change of heart we're seeing here among Republicans and even maybe indeed in the White House about what's possible in this great era of bipartisanship we were supposed to get?
Well, look, whether Gregg had best intentions or not, this was a real political slap in the face to Barack Obama. He went after this job, he was in meetings with the White House, and then he turned around and said no in sort of the harshest way you can and still remain a statesman on Capitol Hill. That's a problem for the Obama administration. They need to look deep inside their own team and figure out, why is this continuing to happen to us? Why are we missing some of the key signals with our nominees, and what can we do to fix that? They're making a lot of rookie mistakes here, and they've got to get this thing back on track.
So I'm going to try a premise here that may be overblown, but we remember in the early days of the Bush administration, we remember Senator Jeffords, okay? He left the Republican Party, became an independent through the Bush administration in turmoil. He became a symbol for this kind of my way or the highway. Right. Does Gregg become a symbol, almost regardless of the facts of the case, does he become a symbol for the limitations of bipartisanship throughout the Obama administration?
I think it does. I think that combined with what's happened with the stimulus and the fact that he tried, President Obama that is, tried really hard to get Republicans to join up with him on the stimulus and basically got no support. So I think combining those two, I think they realize maybe this is more trouble than it's worth. We're still going to get the stimulus package passed, and we don't really need the Republicans. I don't think you'll hear Obama saying that, but I think that might be creeping into their thinking a bit.
We also saw the president this week do two things that only a president can do. He was in the East Room with that press conference on Monday, and then he went around the country, Air Force One landing in towns, creating blanket news coverage. Did that work for him? Did they learn something about the power of the presidency?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Air Force One is a huge symbol, and that rally in Florida this week was almost like a religious revival meeting. I mean, the intensity of emotion for Barack Obama was really extreme, and that's the asset that he's got as president. That's the bully pulpit. He can use that to push the debate on Capitol Hill, but inside the Beltway, I think the Obama administration might need to drop back and punt a little bit on this idea of bipartisanship. It's one thing to have everybody over to watch the Super Bowl together and improve the tone and general relations and comity, as they call it in Washington. It's another thing entirely to convince everybody that you're right and expect that no one is going to disagree with you anymore. That's not where bipartisanship is going in this town. I think we learned that very clearly this week.
After this big show of the presidency, the Republicans didn't change much, though, in response to it. In other words, the president threw everything he had at them, and they're still likely to vote against this bill. The president's still lobbying for it. So where are the Republicans now at the end of this process with the stimulus bill?
Well, I mean, they don't really need to. They're basically hoping this thing doesn't work. I think they're looking ahead to 2010. I think they're looking to say, look, if this stimulus package doesn't work, the Republicans are saying we're going to be in good shape in 2010 because we can say the congressional Democrats, really muffed this. And they'll have something to run on in 2010. I mean, it's almost a desperation attempt on their part, but they don't see any political need for them to sign up with this bill.
And what do you guess the president will do now? What lessons, in terms of his next hard decisions he's got coming forward, how do you think he'll behave differently now for this next round?
Well, in the inside game, he's got to go into his team and figure out why they're missing these signals that are showing that some of these problems are coming and step on that and get that problem fixed. The outside game, we're told at Politico that they're going to just step on the gas and they're just going to go for it. They're going to continue with their agenda, and if the Republicans aren't going to cooperate, they're going to leave them to the side and go with the votes that they've got in the House and the Senate to get their agenda through.
That's right. Rahm Emanuel's been talking about, we talked too much about bipartisanship at the beginning. Well, it was the president who was talking about that. Do you think that's just gone now in terms of the president?
I think you'll see the president continue to reach out, but I think ultimately that they may have felt that, they don't, this may have set the bar a little too high trying to go for this bipartisanship, because at the end of the day it became a focal point and it became basically a scorecard. Where's the bipartisanship? And it became too much of a distraction to them, and I think maybe they don't think they need that going down the road.
That's right. And the score was just 3 Republicans in the Senate. Even George Bush, not known for his great bipartisan tendencies, got more than that on his first big piece of legislation when he was president. So,
Right.
Steve, Eamon, thanks very much.
Hey, thank you.
Thanks.